Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to college basketball predictions. This might be one of the biggest weekends of the year for SEC conference play. Of course, today's Thursday, so we're going to go down, predict the list of conference games that are going around in the SEC this weekend. And of course, tomorrow, like I said, announcement coming to the channel for that one tomorrow. But that is regarding basketball, by the way. However, though, in today's video, of course, like I said, we're going to go over the games this week, talk about them, talk about what games I like, what games I don't like, where College Game Day is going to be this week. It's going to be a fun week in the SEC. But first, of course, you guys are new to the channel. Be sure to, number one, drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Now, one thing I want to hit on before we start the video, and that's Auburn and Tennessee last night. I watched the majority of the game. It was a very boring game broadcasting-wise to watch because all the announcers were analytical. They didn't really get into the game that much, but that Dalton Knecht kid is going to be the number one overall draft pick. And mark my word, on that, starting now, he is going to be the number one overall draft pick, in my opinion. But with that being said, Tennessee would have lost that game if it wasn't for him. He had 34 points last night. We would have won 84-53 if it wasn't for Dalton Knecht. And of course, he had to get the game's biggest shots of the night. But I do want to talk about the officials really quickly because the officials kind of were off and on all game. Auburn had a little bit of ball struggling early in the movement. They couldn't control the basketball. They really couldn't find a rhythm to get into in terms of passing wise, and that still went on throughout the game. Obviously, an example of this is Aiden Holloway's behind the back pass to Jalen Williams. That should have been just a regular bounce pass for a reverse layup. That was not. So that is one of the issues I have, and that's where my key issue lies with this team is the mistakes that are very simple and can correct with this team that can go all the way this year. I think that if you fix a few of those mistakes, then you're going to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. But with that being said, you got to work on your mistakes. You got to work on your strong suits. You got to get Janai better, shooting better from the three-point line if you want to be considered a threat in the March Madness tournament. But that's my overall reaction to Auburn, Kentucky. A phenomenal game from both two teams. Other than that, let's go ahead and hop into some predictions. I know this intro was a little long. Alright, so the first game of the weekend, and by far one of the most anticipated games of this weekend in terms of ranked versus ranked games, that is Florida taking on South Carolina on ESPN. It is the 12 o'clock game. It's going to be a good one. It's number 24 in the country versus number 16th in the country. Now, both of these teams are coming off wins this week. Florida battling to the end against Missouri last night, and then South Carolina obviously just edging Texas A&M last night as well. But do I think Florida can win this game? Absolutely. South Carolina kind of struggles against the good teams. Obviously, Florida's gotten hot recently. I am picking Florida to win this game on the road. I just don't see a world where that crowd at South Carolina disrupts them enough to where Florida is going to lose this game. So I've got Florida. They're the hotter team right now in conference play and winning this game on the road in, obviously, South Carolina. But, again, could South Carolina win? Absolutely. This game could go either or. I know I'll definitely be watching this game on Saturday. But, overall, Florida's going to get the win here. It's going to be close, and it may go into overtime, but Florida will indeed get the win. Moving on, you got an interesting one when these two teams meet, as always. It is Arkansas going into Kentucky. Now, if this game was at Arkansas like it was last time, I would say this game was a close game. Last time, you guys don't remember, I believe Arkansas won or almost won against Kentucky. With that being said, I am going to go Kentucky here. They're at home. They're playing hot recently. I know they lost their midweek, or they won their midweek game off a last-second shot. They should get in rhythm. They're back, basically. They've won 2 in a row. They're hot recently. I'm going with Kentucky as they're the home team in Arkansas this weekend. Moving on, you got LSU going into Vanderbilt. This game's going to be more interesting because Vanderbilt's gym is really weird design-wise. I know it's creative of them to do that, but Vanderbilt's basketball arena is not the best to play at, and it's definitely not the easiest to play at in that one as well. But with that being said, I am going to go LSU here on the road. I believe they lost their midweek game this week, but with that being said, they're going to bounce back against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt struggles a lot. Obviously, they won this week, but I'm still going LSU as I think they're the better team and should get the win on the road against Vandy. Moving on, you got Mississippi State going into Auburn. If you guys recall, last time these two teams met, it was a complete domination by Mississippi State. Auburn could not shoot the three ball. They couldn't get a layup to save their life, and they couldn't rebound the basketball at all. If you don't do those three things, especially on the road in the SEC, then you're not going to win. So, again, this time, it's at home in Auburn. It's in Neville Arena. It's going to be packed. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I have Auburn getting the win and rallying behind their fans this week. They lost to Tennessee, so obviously they're going to be wanting to get back into the conversation of an elite basketball team and an elite team in the SEC. But with that being said, they've got to play their brand of basketball. Jalen Williams being back helps right now, but how bad is it going to be if he gets hurt again and may have to miss the rest of the season? That's what you got to think about if you're the Auburn Tigers. But for right now, I have Auburn winning this game at home against Mississippi State. It's going to be a good one, and it may be a blowout. Moving on, you got Texas A&M going into Georgia. Texas A&M kind of coming off a down year this year, but I'm going with them on the road. Georgia struggles. They struggled at home against Auburn this past weekend. They've been struggling all year in conference play. A&M has been one of those teams, who's been up, down all year, kind of like Kentucky has, but again, they're not considered one of the better teams in the conference. But with that being said, they're going to bounce back against that loss to South Carolina. They should bounce back. They're the better team in this one. Georgia, obviously, flat out is terrible. So, A&M is going to get the win against Georgia this weekend. Moving on, you got the place where College Game Day is going to this weekend. And this is a hard ticket to come by this weekend, at least. That is Alabama hosting Tennessee. Tennessee obviously coming off a win against Auburn at home, but this time they've got to go play the other team in the state on the road. And for that reason, I'm picking Alabama in this game. Alabama's guard play is really good. They live and die, they're by the three-point shot. They live and die by the three-pointers. If they hit their three-pointers and can get in rhythm against this Tennessee team and somehow contain Dalton Knecht to a limited amount of buckets, he's going to get buckets. You already know that. He's guaranteed at least 4 points a night, maybe even 7 or 8 points a night. But he's going to get buckets, but you got to contain Dalton Knecht if you're the Crimson Tide defense. You got to put Mark Sears on him, Grant Nelson on him as well. You may have to double team him the entire game to win this game if you're Bama. I think they can do it. I think their three balls will be rocking on Saturday. It's going to be a tough ticket to come by. It's going to be a rocking crowd, and Alabama will get the win against Tennessee. All right, and the final game of the week, and it's a very boring game, but it is Ole Miss going into Missouri. I've got Ole Miss in this one. It's obvious. Missouri's trash this year. Obviously, proves their record-wise. They're playing at home against Ole Miss, but I've still got them winning this game on the road. No question about it, as Ole Miss will get the win against Mizzou. And that's going to be all for today's video. Of course, let me know, number one, what you thought of it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Tomorrow, Franchise Friday with the Arizona Cardinals, and a big announcement coming to the channel. It's going to be very fun. Announcement, potentially another video coming to the channel on Monday about it. But with that being said, I'm going to hop off, get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.